And a good evening to you on this Thursday evening. We're rolling through the work week here, getting closer to the weekend. Some changes on the way. Some big changes on the way, actually, going into next week. Things are going to be feeling a little bit more like winter, at least for about 2 days. We have a 2-day winter on the way with cold stuff for Monday and for Tuesday. In the meantime, we're looking more or less at still pleasant weather, but a couple of rain chances popping up for the weekend too. So that's what we have going on for you. We're going to get to all of it here over the next 30 minutes on weather impact. So let's get right to it, not wasting any time. I have issued a News 2 weather impact alert for early next Monday and into Tuesday as well. I know this is a little ways away. Just want to kind of give you some time to plan things out because as we look ahead, there's going to be the potential for gusty winds, for cold weather, and for a possible freeze coming up on Tuesday morning as well. So warm clothing, a good idea, disconnecting those outdoor hoses, things like that. If you haven't used the heater in a little while, kind of make sure it works is probably a good idea. All of those are things you want to be doing going into next week. We'll have time to talk more about that in a little bit, but that's just kind of the gist of it before we get ahead of ourselves. So where are we now? Well, temperatures are fine at the moment. They're starting to cool down through the 50s, coming off a daytime where we were in the mid 60s for our highs. And I will say, kind of a sneaky type of a cold night for us here as temperatures start to dip a little bit. We do actually have a frost advisory for our area. We have a clear sky here, low humidity, so temperatures shouldn't have all that hard of a time bottoming out, getting into the, low mid 30s across most of our areas. So this is something we've done pretty frequently over the last couple of nights, but the Weather Service did decide to just go ahead with a cautious frost advisory for us. So not a huge deal, but just something I want you to know about. Temperatures will be bottoming out in the 30s to start the morning for tomorrow. Most of us won't have to scrape the windshield, but it is something to keep in mind. So that cold start tomorrow, it really doesn't last all that long. You'll start the morning, like I said, in the 30s to right around 40 degrees or so. But as the day goes on, it's going to warm up really nicely. We should have a pretty nice day on your Friday. So anything you might be doing for the afternoon, temperatures will be in the mid 60s. You have a pretty good time. Now for Friday night football, we've got the playoffs back and everything like that. A lot of excitement on the gridiron. I think you'll be in good shape. It's just, really late Friday night that we start to watch our next approaching weather system. So I don't really see any chance for rain coming up tomorrow. But the system we're watching for later on is already way up here in the upper Midwest. So this little swirl here, that's kind of our next approaching front that will bring at least a chance for some rain and for some showers. We don't really have a chance of thunder in our area, but there is some opportunity for that over here in Tennessee. And then coming up on Saturday, that chance is a little bit farther off to the south. So just want to let you know about that. It's not out of the realm of possibility that you could catch a little bit of thunder, but the bigger chance for us is just to get a little bit of rain. So it's not tomorrow. Here's about Friday afternoon. Nothing to do in there. But once we get into late night, early morning hours on Saturday, this is around 1 a.m., you see that line of showers and storms pushing up against the mountains. So it'll be moving through Tennessee, Tri-Cities, areas like that, and then coming up the mountain toward Boone early in the morning. This would be about 6 to 7 a.m. So you can see right here how there is some potential for some heavy rain at times. So this is just to start your early Saturday morning. If you sleep in past 7, you're not going to see this. A lot of this will be gone by about 8 to 9 a.m. And then throughout the day, we should get a pleasant amount of sunshine. And with that, we're really going to warm up. So temperatures are getting well into the upper 60s to low 70s for Saturday afternoon. Now, beyond that, going into Sunday, that's a little bit of a different story. On Sunday, we have some warmer air trying to kind of move into the area. This is ahead of our big cool down. So as we have this warmer air kind of advancing, it's possible you could get an isolated shower here or there. So both weekend days have a rain chance. Saturday, it's mostly in the early morning. And then on Sunday, that one is really more so just any time you could catch a passing shower. So here's kind of the idea for the weekend, calling for a morning shower coming up on your Saturday. And then going into Sunday, we're looking ahead at an isolated shower as a possibility. So that's kind of the gist of it there for the upcoming weekend. Both days should be in the 70s. I wonder, we are going to start to see some gusty winds. I'm going to pull that up on the fly for you here. As we look ahead, the winds will start to get gustier and gustier throughout the Sunday time frame. So not so much on Saturday, but as we work our way into Sunday, I really think it will be pretty breezy Sunday afternoon, and then especially by Monday, because Monday is the day that we see the big drop. The big drop in temperatures, huge dip in the jet stream, lots of cold air coming in from Canada, and that's something that we're going to have to track very closely. For Monday and Tuesday of next week, it's going to be cold, as we've said, and it'll be a shock to the system. So those are all things that we could come to expect on Monday and Tuesday, as we've already told you for several days. What we've said before, windy and cold with a freeze possible on the morning. So it's a good idea to kind of have your warmest clothing ready to go because temperatures should be on the cold side. This will be on Tuesday morning. Keep in mind, we're right around 70 on Sunday afternoon, but by early Tuesday, temperatures already in the upper 20s. So a hard freeze is pretty likely for our area. That's the coldest that it'll get. If you were to factor in any sort of wind chill, we actually could be seeing wind chills in the low 20s. So there's a lot of cold air around for the weekend. For Sunday, like I said, a chance of an isolated shower, but there will be some intrigue on Monday for who gets any snowfall. The way that this kind of works is we tend to get a northwest flow of air coming in from the Great Lakes. So there's going to be an opportunity here to see that northwest wind coming in, and when it rises up above the mountains, they tend to get cooling, condensing, clouds, and precipitation. In this case, it would be some snow. And so snow is likely and favored for the North Carolina mountains on Monday. And they could start to see that as early as midday Monday into Monday evening as well. Now, what about for us? I will be honest with you, there have been a couple of models that have thrown a couple of snow showers our way from time to time. But it's important, if you see this kind of stuff on social media, just know these are low chance outcomes. The way the weather works around here, it tends to be that when we have that wind coming off the mountains, things tend to dry up. And so it's not a favorable weather pattern for us to get snow. That's not to say we couldn't have some sprinkles, not to say we couldn't even have a little bit of what we would call grapple or ice pellets or snow pellets, but I wouldn't think snow is all that likely. And if you were to see it, it would probably be fleeting and just exciting. So we'll keep on refining that forecast as we get a little bit closer. I just want to kind of let you know the reality of the situation there. Here's your forecast. Still warm through the weekend, but a big drop and a big change going into next week. We'll be back in 2 minutes.